All right guys, today we're going to be cutting this pine log on the sawmill. As you can see, I need to clean up a little bit on this sawmill, but I'll use it as a step to get up to tighten my blade up. But we're going to cut this tree up, this pine log, and I'm going to tell you this log is worth probably $15. It's a small log and it's not worth much money at all. I know a lot of people planted a bunch of pine trees back in the day thinking they're going to get rich off of them, but pine trees are worth very little now. But we're going to talk a little bit about these pine trees. This pine tree, we want to talk about how much it's worth as well. Like I said, it's worth $15 the way it is right now, maybe. But when we cut it up, I don't know how many we're going to get. We'll see. When we cut it up, we'll calculate what it would cost if you went to Lowe's to buy it. And this log was just a junk tree that the timber people wouldn't even cut. And we're going to use it to build my son's chicken shed that he wants to build. And so it's, you know, we're not making any money off of it, but we're going to save money by not having to go to the store and buy it. Now, on most sawmills, you probably want to clean off the bark and maybe even try to take the bark off, but this pine tree, you wouldn't be able to do that. But on this sawmill, we have a debarker, and you'll see it running in a minute. So we don't have to clean the log off when we're cutting. I'm moving that debarker now. You can see it going back and forth. So this thing is all electronic, so everything we do moves up now. This is saying it's at 14 inches right now. So again, this is a very small log, but on the first cut, the main goal is just to square it up. I'm trying to get the first few cuts about where it's going to be squared up for the next cut. So I want to get close to, when I do my when I flip this log over and cut it again, I want it to be my width that I'm going to cut, which I'm trying to target 9 inches. I don't know with this log being so small if I can get it, but I want it to be 9 inches when I flip it over. So I want to cut about half of that off of this side and half of it off the next side. And you'll see me do it. See that debarker going through that bark, so I don't have to do any kind of cleaning because I have that debarker running. Now, a lot of times if you try to go too fast, it's going to start dipping. So the way to keep your boards from getting dips in it is to listen to the machine. The machine and most pieces of equipment will tell you what you need to be doing. If it starts bogging down, then you're going to have dips in your wood. Now, oak is going to be a lot harder to cut than pine. Pine is usually easy to cut. But if you want it to not dip, don't try to go so fast, and make sure you got a sharp blade. Now this thing has a watering system where you can water and keep the blade cool and helps your blades last longer. And if I was running just full speed production, I would probably use that. But what I found on mine is I just get a lot of rust. And the thing don't work half the time because I'm not using it all the time. It just sits in there. So I don't use my watering system. And I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people may say that's wrong. You can leave in the comments for that if you want to. But I don't use it because it rusts too much. And when I try to use it, nothing comes out. I spend more time fooling with the watering system than just cutting wood. So we're gonna make one more cut here, then we're gonna flip that log and try to cut it down to 9 inches. Again, that debarker is going to keep that wood clean. It's just cutting a little groove for that blade to travel in. And that's going to let my blade, it's going to allow my blade to last a lot longer. You're always listening for your equipment. If you go too fast, it's going to start bogging down. We're good right now. This is perfect wood. If I was running full speed, I obviously wouldn't be coming off and taking every piece off. I'd be using my automatic return to get it off, but I'm trying to show y'all what I'm doing. I don't try to run this thing wide open all the time. All right, so now we're gonna flip this thing and we're gonna cut down to 9 inches, and hopefully when we flip it and we cut to 9 inches, then we'll be at the same distance away from the pith. The pith is the middle part of the log. If you don't know, it's the very center of the log. And we got an automatic roller here, a log roller, which works pretty good. I've heard some people say it messes up the wood too much, so they don't use it, but I like it. Works pretty good. We've set this thing to cut 1 inch, so when I come all the way back, well, I just messed that up. So when I come all the way back with the head, this is called the head, it's moving now, and I hit this, I'm gonna hit a button here, and as I hit that button, it's gonna go all the way down to 1 inch deeper than what it was before. And that's just gonna get a little bit of bark off. So we're gonna go another inch. Now what I'm gonna do is box this tree out. I'm gonna box it out, and then I can cut all my wood that I want. These edge pieces I'll use I'll put it on my edger and use it for the slat. And this top piece will just be throwaway. We don't do nothing with it. You can't even burn pine real good, so we'll just throw it away. In some places, I guess they do burn pine, but we never burn pine because it's got too much sap in it. So we're gonna make, and again, these two pieces, this piece here will be used. I should have put it over here. I'm gonna load it on this trailer and come get the trailer later. So I'm gonna make one more cut, and that's gonna put me down to 9 inches, and then I'll be ready to make all my cuts. And this is gonna give me 1 inch. One click of a button, I go down 1 inch. And keep watching, we're gonna see how much this thing's worth. Now we're gonna be down to 9 inches now. Now I'm predicting we're gonna get about 10 boards out, maybe 9 boards out of this thing. Now we're gonna go ahead and return this one with the return, because I'm gonna put this on the trailer because we're gonna use it to edge and make the slats. We got this automatic return, and it's good to have 2 people when you're doing this, but I can do it with 1. As long as we get it on the trailer, I can manhandle it over there. All right. Now, as you can see, we got this thing squared up, and we're gonna flip it up, and now we can start cutting. This is when you're making money right here. Now, obviously we're not doing this for money, but when you get it to this level, that's when you can move. You can move much quicker. So this is a Wood-Mizer LT70. Look, you gotta reset your settings when you flip it up like this, because it doesn't know where you are. And we're just trying to get that first level, get the bark off. We're still gonna use our debarker because some bark's gonna get in the way. If you hit a rock, it's amazing how fast these things will dull. Now we'll be able to make, I think we're gonna get 10 boards out of this one, but we'll be able to make 5 cuts before we flip it over again. So what we're gonna get out of this is a 1x9 by 18 feet. Now tell me what that would be worth at your local hardware store or Lowe's. don't have to do anything now, just keep cutting. So that's 2 boards we've gotten so far. Now what we'll do is get as close as we can to the center log. We want that last cut to be in the center, the pith to be centered. We're gonna flip it after this one. So we're gonna get 4 boards off this side. So we're probably gonna get 8 total. So look up if you get a chance and let me know. 1 by 9 by 18, 8 of them, what's that worth? Now these pine trees were planted probably 30 years ago with the expectation of pine, and so I was a little boy, but the expectation was pine was gonna be worth a lot of money. Well, just like anything else, if everybody does something, it turns out not to be worth anything. So everybody planted pine back then, and none of it's worth any money. The timber company came, and when they came, they had a bunch of these pine trees marked, not this one, but they had a bunch of these pine trees marked to cut. They paid for the pine trees, but they didn't cut them because they wasn't worth anything. They tried to find somebody to buy them, they wouldn't buy them. But if I'm building something, I like pine the best because it doesn't warp as much, it doesn't crack as much. You can paint it just like anything else. For my at-home projects, I like pine just as good as anything. Another thing, another wood is pretty good is poplar because it's soft and it's easy to work with. This blade goes on through poplar and pine like it's butter. So if you got a local sawmill or a local guy that's got a sawmill, rough cut pine is probably some of the best wood you can use for siding, but you need to paint it. It's gonna rot if you don't paint it. If you want it to last without painting, you may want to use something like white oak, but that'd be pretty expensive. As long as it stays dry, it should be fine either way. I completely missed this one. I'm only gonna get 7. The last piece is gonna be too thick. Now we'll bring the tractor down here to load this stack up, but we got, let's see if you can see this. 1, 2, 3 boards here and 4 over there. So now you can see the quality of these boards. Obviously they have some knots in them just like you would buy at the Home Depot. So 1 by 9 by 18, I'll look up what that is and I'll let you know. So I looked up these boards and they sell a 1 by 8 by 10 and it's $21. So I did some calculating and I just said these are 1 by 8s instead of 1 by 9s. And so these would be $30 a board at my local Lowe's. So that's 7 boards. These would be worth $210 at Lowe's. Now obviously the ones at Lowe's are kiln dried and all that, and you probably wouldn't use, and they're planed. So, you know, obviously we're not comparing apples to apples. Now obviously when you factor in the cost of the sawmill, the blades, the tractor, it's just like hunting kind of. If you added up how much it costs to hunt, you wouldn't hunt. But I think on this, you know, I've built 2 barns, chicken houses, sold some wood. The sawmill has paid for itself, but I'm not sure if I can justify it today. I don't cut a lot today for people. I'm not building any more buildings. Realistically, I could sell the sawmill, get the money back for it, and probably be fine. But I do cut enough for myself where I wouldn't want to do that. So would it be worth it for you to go get a sawmill? Probably not, unless you're going to get one that's, you know, $10,000, a small sawmill, like a hobby sawmill. Then you can do all you want to do and it won't cost so much money. All right, well, thanks for joining us. If you got any questions, send us an email. We might do a video on that. We're always looking for video ideas, but thank you, and we'll see you next time.